Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, you know, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I gonna go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir, I'm out.
The black community isn't destroyed. The black man isn't destroyed. I get the history. I get the inequality that goes into crime, and I think that's where it lies. And I think if there's anything that, as a collective, we can own, it's the reality that, to a degree, we kind of perpetuate inequalities in society until we can get to a place where we can start addressing the inequalities. You may not be able to fight the crime per se, but there's a lot of inequality in society which we participate in perpetuating.
Can I interject
That's
real
a bigger
quick,
subject.
Bill?
Go ahead.
So
Let's do this. Let's
somebody,
do this. Let's pass it to Alexis, then we'll pass it back to you, RP. Let's pass it to
Hey,
Alexis.
can I speak
Go
after
to-
RP?
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, Alexis, then we'll pass it to RP. Go to Alexis. Unmute yourself.
Hey, I'm just can you hear me good?
Yeah, yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so I just wanted to respond to the two ladies on the panel. Like, do you ever get tired of complaining about the things that we've gone through, and like, are you really trying to find a solution for yourself or your family or your community so that you don't have to complain about these things?
okay, so before I answer that, I want to ask you a question.
And then I
Can you
want to
just
answer
answer
too.
my question first?
No, I will ask you a question because I need context to answer your question. What did you interpret about what we said was a complaint, and why?
It's pretty much like I hear the same thing from different people with this whole situation about the rundown of everything that we've gone through. Like, we all, like, I understand how, like, African people that move to the United States, they don't know everything. But it just seems like it's a lot of trauma bonding that much of the older generation does, to find an excuse to be content with living in the United States and not really having any solutions. Like, you just come on
No
to
one
the
said they
panel
were
just to
content.
complain.
Right. Which
No
one of
one
us
said they.
said we were content?
Can
And
I
then I
finish?
have a question too before you elaborate. Since you asked us a question, I believe you asked me and RP a question, and I have a question for context. Are you a foundational Black American? Like, were you born
I'm
here?
African American. I don't claim those abbreviations of
So were your
FBA,
parents born
ADA.
in America? Were your
I'm
parents born in America?
African American, yes.
What does it matter?
It
Oh, it
doesn't
matters a
matter.
lot. It does matter. It matters quite a bit. And this was the point I made when I first came on. See, we have to look deeper. And I know
There
that
we
you
go.
don't believe there's a cause and effect to everything.
Jesus.
There
And
we go.
Okay,
okay,
wait, real quick, because I wasn't intending on being on here too
me
long because I
either.
know it's
Me
a lot of
either.
people. But to Miss Fowler's point, to Jay Dolo's point, and anyone that is in opposition to what I said. So I provided evidence based on historical facts as to what Ms. Show Me State was speaking of causation. You can't cure a problem or solve a problem without knowing the causes and knowing all the things therein that would perpetuate that cause to have an effect, whether it be adverse or something positive. So, with that
So what are the
said,
solutions?
okay, moving on, Mr. Dolo.
They don't
Here
care
come your
about the
solutions,
solutions. They just
baby.
want
Oh,
to
If you read, well,
complain
no,
all
wait,
day.
y'all, hold
wow.
up. Here come your solutions. If you really want a solution,
I
I
have
would
my
I do.
extend
solution.
Miss
I'm asking
Fowler,
about your solution.
get
Not
Let,
really.
ready.
I want to hear.
Let
I gave the
RP talk.
solutions already. I want to hear her solution. I already gave the solutions,
Miss
but I want to hear the
Fowler,
solution. Go
What
ahead.
is her
write this
solution?
down. Write this
I'm not
down.
writing anything down. You
I
need to
know
figure out
because
your
because
solution.
here's the thing. I suspect that you are a young adult and you are among at least two ladies who are your elders. And so you may still be
That does not
learning,
mean
as are we,
anything.
but I have some solutions for you as an elder.
I don't
You should
need
look
the
up,
solutions. I
produce,
have my
you just
solution
asked for a
already.
solution.
No,
So
I
No,
now
asked
I
for
you're
your
contradicting yourself.
solution. You're not
Yeah,
even
Okay.
she's
Okay.
young.
Well,
It's
well,
clear
I
that
just we
it's
want to
clear
hear the
she's
solution.
young.
hold on. One
Okay,
mic.
well
One
just
mic.
at least let me
Let her
talk.
talk again.
No.
Because
RP, I want to hear your solutions. Go ahead. No one, please don't interrupt. No one, do not interrupt. Go ahead, RP.
there is a list. I put it in the chat. It's called 10 Things Black People Should Stop Doing Now. And the list was created by Mr. Neely Fuller Jr. It goes through stop name calling, stop cursing, stop gossiping, stop robbing, stop being discourteous. And there's even an addition by Dr. Francis Cress Welsing, in which would really, if implemented by Black people now, would help solve the problem. Stop throwing down trash where Black people live, work, and play. Stop making dirt and filth the norm. Stop using and selling drugs to one another. Stop letting Black children think that as children they can be adequate mothers and fathers. Stop believing that welfare will save you. Start believing in prosperity. Stop pretending that racism, white supremacy doesn't exist. Stop being divided and conquered and allowing Black, brown, red, and yellow people from being divided by white supremacy. Now, yes, white supremacy is the thread that drives through this list because it is the cause. However, if you so decide to go to producejustice.com or to endarkenment.com and look up the 10 stops that I just gave you and implement them on an individual level, and then hopefully you can spread that out to the group to promote constructive behavior, then we will have a solution. This is also going to include divestment from entertainment, which is just full out trash. I think we can agree on
Amen to
that by
that.
now. Trash. Let us stop conducting menticide. Let us respect each other mutually and get to the point where we understand we are universal people. That includes our younger audiences. With peace and love, Miss Fowler,
Let
and
me say
everyone
something
else.
about
Thank
Bless
you.
you,
right
bless
quick.
you, RP. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. She dropped the mic with that one. I just don't
Yeah.
believe
Let
that
me. Can I
people who
respond to that?
really Dynast, I just want to thank you for having me on the show. I'm going to go ahead and close out and thank you for having
Of
me.
course.
No
Can I
problem.
say
Thank
And can
you.
something
I just say
real
something
quick?
real
Right.
quick?
Well, hold on.
Yeah, I
Let
wanted
that
to
was
respond to
hold on.
RP.
Since it was directed towards Alexis. Alexis, go ahead and respond. We'll pass it. I think Jay Dolo wanted to say something. All right, go ahead, Alexis.
I said what I said because when we have these discussions and point out the issues within our own community, there's always like a few older people in our community that has to do the rundown and the sad story and the traumas that we've gone through instead of creating the solution on the panel. It's just really like redundant and it's like a
I
broken
gotta get on
record.
this
Like
shit.
nobody wants to hear the first events of why we're here in America and our issues and I don't have enough money, all this other stuff. Like, I'm just really tired of the broken record of everything that we've gone through, instead of working on progressive conversations of what can be the solution, instead of telling African people, you don't know what we've gone through. Like, just be more progressive and stop bringing up everything that we've gone through and why we're so degenerate. Let's focus on how to stop being degenerate. That's it.
Man.
Hey, so
All right,
Okay, I'll jump in.
hold on. Let's pass it to Jay Dolo. Then we'll pass it to Success 2201. Go ahead, Jay Dolo.
Yeah, I'll jump in. I wholeheartedly agree with Alexis, right? No disrespect to those two older women. I'm sure they're much older than me. No disrespect to them. But the first problem I'm not going to say facing the Black community, but first, it's the degeneracy, it's the crime, it's the behavior. And the second biggest problem that no one wants to talk about is the excuses that we come up for the degeneracy, the behavior, and the crime. It's always, oh, well, we were here 500 years ago. This is all white supremacy. And we always find a way to root it back to white supremacy instead of taking accountability to say, all right, maybe people, when they're 16, 17-year-olds, shouldn't be having kids, especially when they ain't got no money. Maybe we should not throw trash in our streets. Maybe we shouldn't be killing people over fries that's too cold and too much mayonnaise on our sandwiches. And I understand what they're saying in the historical context, yes. But you also have to understand, in history, groups of people have gone through unspoken things. It can't be an excuse for this degenerate behavior. 1,000 years from now, no one's going to care where Black people came from. If we're still in the same state, no one's going to care. No one's going to make excuses for it. So yes, we have the white supremacy excuse for now. But as time goes on, no one's going to care. That's all I'll say.
Jay Dolo, is there a pandemic of Black people killing people over too much mayonnaise or cold fries? Those are one-off situations, so you can't pin it as it's
But why?
something that's
Even
been
one is
going
too
on
many.
for years.
One is too much, bro. I mean, come on,
one
man.
is too much.
Come
But
on,
people have
Elvis.
mental health
What are we
issues.
talking about?
Those behaviors could be accounted to some mental health issues as well. Black people are not immune to it. There are some crazy people out here who do crazy things.
Yeah, yo, this is exactly what I just said. The excuses.
Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's do this. Success 2201. Go ahead.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. All right. So I just wanted to say, let me just start off with this. I just want to say that I do want to give an appreciation for my ADOS brothers and sisters, all the history they have done in America. And I just want to thank them, because it wasn't for their fight and their struggle, none of us would be here in the United States. That's number one. But let me continue. Now, I agree with the sisters that was talking about the issues that's affecting our community. She's correct. Now, I just have a question. During those times, right, in the 1900s, where we was going through the racism, segregation, lynchings and stuff, right, we had a man called the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He came during the time when Black people was getting killed left and right. But during that time, he was able to raise Black men and Black women into pristine people. Can we all agree to that? Can we all agree to that?
Yeah.
All right,
What was the question?
He didn't raise everyone.
No,
go ahead.
Can't agree to that.
No, he didn't raise everyone.
No, I'm just saying that not everyone, but I'm just saying that he just took the Black men and Black women who are mentally dead, and made them into significant, intelligent beings. Right? That's you gotta go ahead and put your point, bro. Because everybody ain't gonna agree. Hold on. Let me continue. Also, not just him. You got Dr. Malachi Z. York. He did the same thing too. You had also Dr. King, and you had other prominent leaders, right? But even during those times, during segregation and everything too, we still had a Black unit, we still had a Black family, and we were the most productive people back then. Correct? Can we all agree?
It wasn't a culture, though.
I'm saying we can go back in history. We can see that there was a lot of Black inventors, right? And elites, right? And just spit your point. All right, but I'm just saying that now, during the 1980s, We got drug infested, crime, and everything too. Now the family unit is destroyed because back in 1965, we was married at an 80-20 majority of the time. Now you look at that, father's not in the home. Now it's 20-80. So can we agree that the family unit is destroyed, right? can we agree to that?
I'm trying to get success. We know everything you're saying we know, but I'm just trying to what's going on.
No, I'm just saying that pretty much is that the fathers is not in the home because when we had the fathers in the home, we were more productive men inside the household. Not saying that there's an excuse over here to all that behavior is going on in Atlanta, because if we look at Texas, there's also prominent black communities in Texas that are rich. What I'm just saying is that if you look at another group, for example, the Asian community, right? When they came into the United States, they were called Orientals. They petitioned and said, yo, stop calling us Orientals. But with us, this N-word is flying around and we're not petitioning the word. Can we all agree to that? We're accepting certain.
Bro, success, bro. But hold on. Let's Pan-Africanism strikes back. Go ahead, bro. Let me just Pan-Africanism strikes back. Go ahead.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, so the thing is, people always say, a lot of people talk about the Black American and what would he have done without the white man and all this stuff. I think what we did in Liberia is about what we would have done without the white man, because coming out of slavery, we were the ones who were the experts and the masters of all the skills of all the nation building skills that built America. This is true. Booker T. Washington reinforced this by encouraging Black people to learn those skills and teach their children those skills. So Black Americans have always had a capacity for nation building, the infrastructure. It wasn't until later on where we basically begin to desire something else, which coincided with the civil rights movement, where white acceptance became the number one most sought after thing in the number one most important achievement in the Black community. So could we have built a nation without white people? Of course we could. We built this nation.
You didn't build Liberia without white people,
wait.
Brandon.
Oh, here we go. Here go the hate. Here go the hate. Oh, boy.
I didn't say we built.
Here we go.
Listen. It's like saying white people didn't build America. Yeah, they did, because they put Black people in the positions to help them build America. They put Italians in a position to help them build their country. So when African Americans went to Liberia, we put the Liberians in position to help us build Liberia, right? So
not just the Liberians, but the loans that you took from America. That's what helped build Liberia.
Listen, bro. Every African country is taking loans right now. So if you say that the African American can't build a country, well, neither can the African, because he's taking more loans than African Americans ever took from Liberia. I mean, from America. You guys took billions and billions of dollars and continue to do that. I know the loans we took from America couldn't have been even any higher than the millions, right?
Brandon, let me interject real quick. When Samuel Doe, when the indigenous took power, they took more loans in that small period of time than they ever did during all of the American-Liberian rule, and that's a fact. So go back.
Oh yes. So the whole thing is, yes, we've always had the capacity for nation building, but our communities and everything got destroyed. And I'm not going to say they got destroyed. They were destroyed, and they were destroyed by us in part. A large part of it was because of us. I'm not putting nothing off on the white man, right? But the whole point is, that's what we're dealing with now. If you've been looking at my channel, I've been for the whole week basically talking about African American accountability and how we need to, acknowledge and take responsibility for the current situation our community is in, just like Atlanta. That's much different from you Liberians, like you, Elvis. You guys still trying to play the blame game. So it's so funny how the pot is calling the kettle black when you guys are doing as much buck passing as anybody when it comes to the current state of your country. You guys fought against other black people, kiss white butt, saying that if you guys got the country, it'll be better. You guys took the country and it got way worse. And so now what we're trying to do is continue to lead you Liberians on the path in which you should go by displaying accountability for what's going on in our community in America, and maybe you guys will follow suit. Atlanta is terrible.
That's where
It's not
you're
easy.
wrong, Brandon. 1 second. Let me get in here for 30 seconds. That's where you're wrong, Brandon.
Elvis.
For me, I speak on Liberia because I understand the nuances. I understand the actual the atmosphere during the times when these things happen. I don't understand a lot of the nuances in the African American community. I don't understand what you guys has been through, the historicity behind, what led to some of your problems. I know what happened in Liberia. And when you talk about people, building Liberia, it didn't happen in a vacuum. Like Tubman said, he borrowed $11 million from the United States to help build our executive mansion. He borrowed money for our finance ministry. He borrowed money for a lot of the ministries that was built in Liberia. So it wasn't like African Americans rose up from the mud and built everything on their own. There was outside help. There was outside financial help. We have to acknowledge that. We have to acknowledge it.
Elvis, when you have a nation, which nation doesn't take a loan or borrow money?
That's the point that I'm making. When you say that African Americans built it, they didn't build it by themselves. They had, without the outside loans, it wasn't going to happen.
But Elvis, but even then, even if you have a nation that takes loans from someone else to build a nation, you won't say that those people didn't build the nation. That's the point I'm trying to make. The Chinese, the Japanese, they took out loans to help build their country, and they still built their country. But for some reason,